Well, it is wonderful to be here with all of you on this 25th anniversary of the Interfaith Center of New York, a day that is also notable as we celebrate a historic celebration of Juneteenth. So I want to just say a few thank yous to Mary Jane Brock and to Patty Kenner for being our co-chairs. Patty has mentioned the sponsors ranging from Barbara, Matt, the Hindu Temple, Trinity here, so many of you, including program partners. And I want to shout out, we've got New York Law School here tonight, represented by Dean Crowell and Arthur Abbey, who let us bring religious diversity to their lawyers in training, which we are so grateful for. Also, we have Deputy Commissioner Chauncey Parker and Detective Amen representing the NYPD, with whom we have a lot of dialogue and also a great partnership when it comes to religious diversity for NYPD officers. So at this time, I'd also want to welcome Councilmember Gail Brewer, who when she was at the Manhattan Borough President's office, we together did a lot of vaccinations, actually, at houses of worship along 116th Street and further afield. So that was a great endeavor as well. There are many more of you as well, and if you could raise your hand or stand up as I call your names. We've got representatives from the International Buddhist Progress Society over here, I think. Yes, thank you. We've got the Buddhist Council of New York, the Micah Table representatives. We've got the Muslim Community Network, I think, along with Sadhana, Progressive Hindu Coalition, the Board of Rabbis, who we'll hear more from, Catholic Charities of the Archdiocese of New York, Tom Dobbins, the Episcopal Diocese of New York, the Cathedral of St. John the Divine, and Union Theological Seminary. Without you, we could not do our work. It's that simple. So, my question tonight is, what has been the impact of the Interfaith Center of New York on New York City for the last quarter century? Or put another way, what would our city look like if we hadn't been here? Now, you'll have to forgive me for this seasonably incorrect moral fable that I'm about to launch into, but it does remind me, this question, of a scene in Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life. George Bailey, played by Jimmy Stewart, is a family man, a community leader, someone who sacrificed a lot along the way, and because of a terrible misfortune, wants to end it all. Indeed, he says he wishes he hadn't been born. And then Clarence, the angel, appears, descends right on time, and shows George Bailey what his town and family would have been like if he, George, had never been born. Clarence, the angel, shows him his town without him, as if he had never existed. It turns out it's called something different, Pottersville, from his arch enemy. And this mean, heartless, and dog-eat-dog place where the strong do as they will and the weak do as they must. It is a contrast to Bedford Falls, a town with George Bailey, a place of community, of growth, of love. Not perfect, not a perfect place, immune from suffering or loss, but a place that has hope despite these things. So one way to answer the question about what NYC would be like if the Interfaith Center didn't exist would be to say that it would be a lot more Pottersville and a lot less Bedford Falls. So here we are, and we're excited. So many of you here tonight are leaders who we usually see in your temples, in your mosques and parishes, in interfaith vigils or anti-hate walks, Vesak or Diwali or Eid holidays, at vaccination drives, at health fairs, or on the steps of City Hall. Without you, we couldn't offer our education or organizing or advocacy that helps our beloved city and its millions of residents be better equipped to take on hatred and bigotry and racism in any form. The Interfaith Center of New York would also not be here celebrating our 25th year without the help of long-term and stalwart board members, many of whom came on board with our founder, the very Reverend James Parks Morton, and decided to stick around. Well, let's give them a hand, actually. So that brings us to tonight's extraordinary honorees. Honorees who are receiving awards in the name of the Interfaith Center's founder, the very Reverend James Parks Morton. Each year we honor those who embody the values of the world's great traditions, religious traditions, namely peace, justice, and a commitment to upholding human dignity. And tonight's honorees, I would say, offer also an expression of great love and great courage in a world filled by too much hate. So with that, I would like to invite up Ruth Messenger, our board member, to introduce the first honoree.